your girl Lady J. Say, car talk, car talk, car talks with Meg, car talks with Meg, car talk, car talk, car talks with Meg, car talks with Meg. Affirming an all-inclusive podcast where all topics matter.
So when I grew up and I was in the church, and situations happen, I should have brought me some tissue over here. I didn't know I was going to do this. Yeah, I know. And situations happen, and I got hurt by the people that I was most vulnerable with. I've shared so much of me, my time, my talents, my prayers, all of that with this group of people. And I got hurt. I left for about, I'm going to say 2-3 years. I left church. Didn't go. But in that time, I think I left in like 2019. And I was going to church for a little while. I started going for a little while. And I was going because I'm like, I need some good news. I need to hear something. I need to hear a word from the Lord. So I started going to another church for a little while first before I actually just stopped going completely. I needed to be fed because I felt like I was going hungry. I felt like I was starving because of the things that were going on. I was not being fed properly. I was missing my nutrients. I was missing the necessary, you know how so when my kids get up in the morning for school, my kids learn how to grab breakfast and go catch the bus. Like, that's just what I taught them because that's what they do. Because when they get to school, they eat breakfast. So I buy things here that they can just grab, like Pop-Tarts. They might grab some yogurt, Go-Gurt, or whatever, Danimals, things like that, a fruit, something like that, donut, stuff like that, waffle, whatever. So when they don't have school, like on a Saturday, they get up. They know they got Pop-Tarts in there. That's one thing my kids love. They love them some fucking Pop-Tarts. Like, don't come between my kids and they Pop-Tarts because they don't play about it. Especially one of my kids. He ain't going to play with you about his Pop-Tarts and his yogurt or Danimal or Go-Gurt. He has the same breakfast every morning. I know what he getting when he get up. He gets up just to eat. Like, that's one of my sons. I ain't going to say which one, but that's the one. But they get up, they would get up on a Saturday, or he would get up. First of all, he's always the first one up. He would get up on a Saturday, and if he hears me move a little bit, his room is across the house. You hear me? Across the house from my room. My room is separated by the front door and the back door. And their room is all the way in the back of the house. So he'll get up, and I feel like he'll listen for me to move, to do anything. And it's hard to hear in my room compared to with the distance. And if he hears me, because sometimes I'll be on the phone when I wake up or whatever. And if he hears a little laugh, I hear little footsteps. And here he come. I'm like, oh God. So I act like I'm asleep sometimes. But he like, nah, I heard you. So he'll pat me, or he'll stand there and say, good. I could be facing the other way. He'll stand behind me talking about, good morning. No. Get out. Because I know why you ain't here. You want me to say brush your teeth so you can eat some food. Get out. But he gets up to eat. I'm telling y'all. So he'll get up on a Saturday. Treat it like a weekday. Like you're ready to go to school. He'll get up. He'll say good morning. I'll let him say good morning. He'll brush his teeth. He'll come in here and say, Mom, can I eat? Okay. Did you brush your teeth? Yes. Did you wash your face? Yes. Did you make your bed? No. Make your bed. Then can I eat? No. Because what you're going to do is you're going to grab a Pop-Tart. And you're going to grab a yogurt. You're going to sit down and you're going to eat. And then you're going to be hungry 5 minutes after. because you're not eating food that's going to stick to you. You're not eating something with some substance that's going to stick to you. You're going to be hungry because that Pop-Tart is a sweet treat. It's just filling. It's filling right now. And it'll satisfy you for the next 2 minutes. And then you're going to come back in about 30 minutes talking about, I'm hungry. So then you find yourself eating breakfast again or eating a snack again. And then the snack going to be, filling for you for another 30 minutes. You're going to come back. I'm hungry. See, that's the problem. I felt like I kept snacking at church. I felt like it was just a snack. It wasn't filling me. There was nothing with substance anymore. It became more personal than it should have been, more of a spiritual, soulful thing. So I was going to a church because I felt like I kept snacking. I was snacking where I was. I was used to being there. The snack was good. Then it became to the point where I was, how you eat something every night? Leftovers. I've been eating tacos for the last 2 weeks. I made me some meat about a week ago. Sorry. I made me sweet about a week ago. I said week. Some meat about a week ago. And I done had hard shell tacos for 3 days. And then I had soft shell tacos for 2 days. And then I had nachos for those, the next like three to 4 days. Then I was like, I got to taste for some nachos again. And my friend was like, you've been eating tacos and nachos for a few days now. You sure you should be eating that meat? Got to a point where I was like, you're right. I think I should stop. I'm okay. Let's get this out there. I am okay. I haven't had it. I think I threw it out. I need to check. But in the event of what I'm saying is sometimes you keep eating the same foods and it starts either becoming bland or unhealthy for you because it's spoiled. Did y'all hear that? I had to sit back on that one. Jesus. It becomes food. Food spoils. I don't care if you keep eating it, reheating it, cooking it or whatever, if it spoils. So I was going to a church for a little while, a church of a pastor that I trusted. And I was in there, and every time they saw me, they spoke life. Every time. And it was crazy because at one point, when the pastor was talking to me, the pastor said, I could just hear you saying, God, like, I just want it to be me and you. I don't want you to kill nobody. I don't want you to hurt nobody. I just want it to be me and you. I cried, boy, I cried because I'm like, that's me. I don't care about what nobody got going on. I just want to focus on me and God. I didn't care. That's all I wanted. I just wanted God to hear me like he heard 4-year-old me. That's what I wanted. So after a while, pandemic hit. Churches were closed. And sometimes I feel like, God did what God did for the sake of some people. And I think I might be one of those people. Because I didn't get COVID. But things happened to where I ended up having to provide and supply on my own for me and my children. And I left the marriage. And I had a part-time job at the time. And I needed to provide. Stimulus checks. Opportunities to where you cannot be evicted. Work from home opportunities. Spending time with my kids at home and still getting paid and getting a promotion in that time. And it was so much that God was doing. And in those times, I found God for me. And I found God in a way to where I was able to deliver to my children carefully who God was. I pray and I say, God, I pray that every day my children see my practice of faith. And not just my believing in you, but in my believing in what you can and will do. I pray every day and ask God to please allow my children, if I could be a vessel to anybody in this world, which I know I can, I choose to be a vessel to my children first. Because you want to know, not only did I get that faith because of God hearing my prayer, but I watched my mom speak things into existence. That lady said to me one time, I believe God can rain down money from the sky if he wanted to. That's how much faith I have. Still to this day. My children are the closest thing to me. One of the closest things to me. Or 4 of the closest things to me. I adopted 2 other ones. So, 6. But they remind me every day of God's grace and mercy. I mess up. My kids have seen some things in my home. My kids have heard some things in my home. But every day, my children choose to forgive me. Every day. Now, don't get me wrong. They get their butts, when necessary. I'm on them. But it's like God sent me 4 angels. Plus 2. To remind me of God's will. If it weren't for my kids, if it were not for my kids, I honestly, naturally, if it weren't for my kids, naturally, I don't know where I would be. I don't know if I would have given up. I don't know if I would have said, fuck it all. Whatever. I'm finna do what I gotta do to get this money so I can have the life that I want to have. Fuck it. I don't know if I would still be in the land of fairy tale land that I was in before at 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And I do want to put this disclaimer out there for those of you that knew me at 21. First of all, y'all ain't right, because why y'all no, I'm just playing. First of all, at 21, you're still mentally 17. Still. I don't care how much education you got. Because at 18, 19, 20, 21, you're still learning, coming from a dependent stage. Most of us, majority of us, come from a dependent stage where we're depending on our parents to provide, to where we may not have to. Again, I say majority because I know some people, like some of my cousins growing up, had to depend on themselves to provide for themselves, which I get. But sometimes that too can be unhealthy, because then you get into survival mode for the rest of your life, that's all you know, because that's all you've done for yourself. And we have to learn how to switch and turn it off. Switch the mode of survival and turn it into being able to live. I came from a stage of my life where I was dependent. 18, 19, I didn't go off to college. I wanted to. I thought I was too dumb. I'm going to just be straight up with you. I thought I was too dumb. My grades did not reflect that I was eligible for school or for a 4-year college. So I resorted to going to a community college, which is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But in my mind, I'm like, because again, I'm an arts person. I'm an art student, a creative arts person. So I didn't see myself going to a 4-year university to become something that I knew I wasn't going to stick with. I used to want to be a teacher. And then it turned into a principal. And then after that, I was like, I think I want to be an OBGYN. And then after that, I was like, I think, it was a lot. But when I was 18, hearing kids talk about where they were going to school and what they were going to do, I in my head, I'm like, these 4 years I fucked over, because I'm going to school for my friends. I'm doing my work just to pass, and I'm not understanding, and I'm not, because I'm an art student. Now, if that was art-based, project-based, I would have been, man, shh. So I'm going to take that opportunity for my kids. My kids are arts kids. I know it. That's all they do. That's all they talk about. I know it. But anyway, we get in a mode, 18, 19, 20, 21. We're still in that 17, 16 mentality. Because one thing I know that I am going to start doing and am doing with my children, even at such a young age, my oldest is 10. So I'm teaching them how to live affordably. Like, I don't want to start teaching you this at 17. Like, okay, you leaving in a couple months, or you leaving next year. You got to make sure no, because then it becomes a crash source, or a crash segment, to where at 18, 19, they're literally living based off of what information or what it is that they have, and it's very little. So they're going from paycheck to paycheck. They're going from source to source to source. I don't want my children to do that. At 18, 19, 20, 21, that's what you do. 22, 23, 24, that's what you do. You do what you can until you can make it. But you're still mentally 17 at 21. And at 21, I still went from being a dependent. I had a job. I had a couple of jobs. But I went from being a dependent to going into being a dependent again by marrying from my dad's house and getting married. And I did that because of freedom. I saw freedom in that. And I knew it was certain things I couldn't do under my parents' roof. And that's not a reason to get married, I know. But that was part of the reason why I did it, because of freedom. I'm being straight up, being honest, transparency, vulnerability, whatever you want. I done cried twice. What do you want from me? Like, come on, man. No, but that's what I did. So I stopped going to church. Pandemic hit. Things started happening around the world to where it wasn't out of fear. But I said, I want to get to know God for myself. So I would watch different sermons. First of all, I got to a point where I stopped listening to gospel music. I could not hear a gospel song because it would trigger me. It would trigger me so bad that I would cry whenever I heard it. It wasn't in a good way. It was in a way that I'm like, I can't believe these people, man. Every song I listened to reminded me of before, where I came from. And I did not want people to have that much control over me. I did not want people to be able to take that from me, my love for God from me. I didn't want that. So I separated the things that I was going through in reality to who I was trying to become spiritually. I separated it. And I allowed my reality and the people that I was dealing with to be the people that I was dealing with and not be a God thing. I realized that my godmom actually told me, she said, if it was one thing that I did and one thing that she did growing up, not growing up, but she told me about a situation that happened where a certain someone did something or whatever. And first of all, I've never heard this lady yell, holler, fuss, cuss, anything. She's very, very calm-spirited. Very calm-spirited. Like when she talks, you get chills because she has such a calming to her. And when I tell you, I've been surrounded by angels my entire life. I know it. I know I have. And I'm not just here by mistake or still here by mistake. I know it. But she said that she experienced a situation with someone that she just had to laugh. And she realized that that person was just being that person. She said, and from that day forth, I stopped expecting that person to be something that I wanted them to be or that I had envisioned for them to be. I expected them to be just them. And it got easier for me. I stopped talking about me. I stopped holding expectations so high of certain ones that could not deliver what it was that I was expecting from them. That's like expecting the blind man to drive me to the store. And I'm the one that can see. So when I got to the point where I separated my reality versus my spirituality, and I spoke with a friend of mine who at the time was very, very crucial in my life. And he reminded me of just the simplicity of who God is to me. He reminded me of the simplicity of God is love. Because I had a fear, and I'm like, but I'm someone who is I'm a lesbian woman. How is God gonna bless me? Why? Because all you see and all you learn and all you know is that God hates homosexuality. It's a sin. And it's gone so far to where the church has put homosexuality into the box of sins of people that commit murders, of people that molest or abuse children, of people that steal, of people that do lie, that cheat, that all of that. Like, homosexuality, which is a false term, was put in that same category. So in my mind, growing up, that's all you hear. And I knew growing up that I was experiencing being attracted to the same sex. I saw a commercial when I was young of a black woman. She had curly hair. I remember this commercial. It was a hair commercial. It was about perms. Back then we used to get perms. It was a black woman with curly hair. And I saw her and I was like, it's like, oh. That's how I felt. Then I saw another commercial. It was like a family commercial. It was a black woman, once again, with curly hair. It was like the curly natural fro. And I was like, ooh, she's pretty. And it wasn't like, oh, she's cute. No. It was, oh, gee, you make them like that? God damn. So, in meeting with this friend, so I had a meeting scheduled with this person because he was trying to do a project with me. That was at the time when I had my business. Also had a business during the pandemic. And I had a studio and everything, and it was so cold. But I was meeting with him, and we started talking. And he was like, sis, I be seeing your statuses and stuff. He was like, because I was exploding on social media. I was going off. I was hurt. It was a whole thing. And he told me, he said, I be seeing your status. And I just wanted to, I was looking for the right opportunity to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, we'll talk. Let's talk. We talked. We had a real good conversation. And this conversation, I left the meeting with an appointment. And with my security that I lost in God. With the beginning of my security, I should say, that I lost. I felt it coming back. That was the awakening for me, that conversation. I felt it coming back. And the more I fed it every day, I fed it substance every day. I was praying, I was fasting. I was reading as often as I could, and not just my Bible, but I was reading. I was reading to understand. I was reading to interpret. I was reading to gain knowledge, so that I could understand who it was and what it was that I was believing in and what I was believing. I wasn't just taking it for face value anymore. I wasn't just taking it because somebody said what the Bible say. And that's one thing that I realized that we can do as people. We can hear someone quote a scripture or say God said, or say God, or say, Jesus, or whatever it is that they quote, or say something like along the lines of how we hate the devil. Say something along the lines of that, and we all of a sudden we drawn, we in. Like, oh, that's, you said God, I'm in. Now, anytime anybody say God, I'm like, hold on, what you finna say? Because I'm gonna listen. And if it's one thing that I don't do, I don't push on people or force people to see who God is from my lens, but I share who I see God is from my perspective and from what I've gained. And if you choose to see it that way, dope, but gain your own understanding. Don't just take it because you say, I trust Celia. I know that's what Celia say. Gain your own understanding, because the moment something go wrong and the moment things don't happen the way that you think it'll happen or the way that you think I said it should happen, you're going to be mad at me, and then you're going to be mad at God. And then not only that, you're going to come to me, and every time you see me, you're going to want a word from God, a reading, some may call it. You're going to want some type of whatever it is that you gain from me first. You're going to want more of it. But I'm here to tell you, I deliver what God gives me to deliver. But you have to gain and retain what God has for you to keep and hold. So when I left that meeting, I felt refreshed. I felt brand new. I felt good. I felt beginning to feel happy again. And I was reading, I was praying, I was fasting, I was reading, I was praying, I was fasting, I was reading, praying, I was fasting. Started listening to gospel music. Slowly. All that time, you hear the term, well, God left me, or you left God. All that time, God was right here. All the time. I am I'm grateful that God sent his son, Jesus, in earthly form to experience the things, the emotions, the hurt, the crying, the temptations, the temptations tried. I am grateful that God sacrificed Jesus to come to this tainted earth to experience the things that we experience. And I feel like part of that was a flex from God. That's just how I feel. I feel like God was flexing. God came down here and was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. It can't be that hard. Go down here and show my face and show these people that I am the truth and the light. And even with the adversities, even with the doubts, even with the temptation, the hurt, the anger, God still provided. It was crazy because the amount of faith that Jesus had and just knew my daddy gonna, what? Who ain't got no more wine? Y'all, there's wine over there. Did you see it? The best wine there is. That was just water. It's wine. First class. Top shelf. You feel me? Came to earth, flexed, couldn't even kill Jesus. Couldn't even kill him. Hung him up to die. He died. Then he beat death. Bruh. You had to come down here and flex like that? What? What? You prancing around with holes in your hand. What? You had to come down here and flex like that? Healing people. The blind, the sick, saving, raising, all of that, providing, feeding folk with 30 loaves of bread. No, it wasn't 30 loaves of bread. What is it, 30 fish and 10 loaves of bread? I need to go back and read. Feeding folk, a multitude of people that were hungry with so little food, and everybody was full. I know for a fact that there are more stories. I know for a fact that these stories are not just it. I know, and I would love to explore more. But the way these stories is going, they good to me. I'm sorry. They good to me. They good. I want to tell y'all that when I realized that my faith was almost dead because of people, I had to repent. I had to ask God for forgiveness because I was like, God, but you put these people in my life. God, but these people are your vessels. God, these people are, God was like, but people are who they are. Expect people to be and deliver exactly who they are and what they can deliver. Stop putting the expectation on different ones that cannot provide you more than what you've seen. Stop putting the expectation on them of giving them what you want, but put the expectation on them to give you what they know to give you and what you know they're capable of. I'm not gonna trust a thief with my wallet. That's just me. If you're proving to me that you're gonna keep stealing, you're not holding my wallet for 2 seconds. No. I'm gonna tuck that bad boy and put it away. I'm not gonna trust a backstabber to not backstab me. No. I'm not gonna trust a liar to tell me the truth. I'm not going to trust, I hate to put it this way, a deadbeat parent. I'm not even just going to say dad. A deadbeat parent to be there for their child. Because they've proven to me you can't. I'm not going to trust someone with twisted priorities to have their priorities in order. Because you've proven to me that you can't. My expectations of people have changed. And now instead of hoping and praying for the best, which I still do, I pray that God allows me to speak to this individual in a way that they will receive it. And then I am able to understand and interpret what it is that they, respond back with, and that I don't lose my temper. And that I don't respond in a way that I will regret. And that I stay respectful. And that this. I alter my prayer to center around reality when it comes to dealing with people. But I continue to pray for that person in the space where I know, okay, God, last time we had this conversation, this is how it went. So God, I'm asking you to allow this conversation to come with a sense of peace, understanding, and hearing each other to understand, and not here to deflect or to, protect or defend. I pray based off of what the person gives me and not what I assume. I'm learning to not assume anymore. So I said all that to say this. I started going to church again recently. It's been okay. It's been a little difficult to get back into that routine. I go whenever I have my children. And in me going, I recognized that it was hard being there. but I did it. I'm contemplating on joining a church. I've been contemplating on joining a church. And it's not your typical type church. It's not the church that I would honestly, first thing I wouldn't think is to let me join this church. I had my idea of a perfect church in my head. I had my idea. This wasn't it. But sometimes God may put you in a position and not say why, not say nothing, but just place you there. And you sitting there looking like, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know why I'm here? Oh. That's where I'm at right now. And I'm trying to figure out. And I think that's the problem. I waste too much time trying to understand and figure out. Because everything I don't have to understand. Especially if I'm trusting that God is in control. If I am trusting that this is something that God is leading me to do. I know that it's something that God has spoken to me and keeps dealing with me about. I know. But it's the whole thing about joining a church that gives me the pushback. I don't know if I'll do another episode before the year is out. But when I come back, I'll update you. Because I'm trying to get through fear. I'm trying to get through, not expecting the hurt. I'm trying to get through a lot. And I think I'll be able to dissect it once I share another episode with you all. But in the event of this episode closing, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you all for hearing me out. And please give me your perspective. Give me your take on what you think. Let me hear you. I want to hear what you think. And in me hearing what you think, I want to understand this. I want to know, if you go to church every Sunday, I want to know, what is something that you expect to receive from church when you go? And a lot of people say, well, the word, I expect to receive the word. Be more specific. What do you expect from church when you go? What is your why in going to church? What is your why? And I challenge you to not make it a cliche answer, because the Lord dwells in there. Because I challenge you to, y'all seen me cry twice in this one. You might see more, because this is very, very touching for me. And again, it's me experiencing vulnerability with you all. So get deep, man. Get it. Well, not get deep, but get in there. Really ask yourself, is it because this is just what I'm used to? Is it because that, the Bible says to dwell in the place of the most? Is it because that what is it? And if you don't know, just say, it's just, I don't know. It's just what I know. Because for so long, that was what I knew. And I didn't know. I fell into a routine to where it was a routine for me to go to church, and to where it was a routine for me to shout. It was a routine for me. Like, all of those were routines. And if I felt like I didn't do it and, I hadn't done it in a while, time to shout. I ain't did it in a while. Let me go ahead and get that in there real quick. And it was a routine. And sometimes in doing routines constantly, we become robotic and don't even know it. So put in the comments, why do you go to church? Maybe you might help me, to be honest. Why join a church, I should say. Why do you go to church, and why is it necessary to join a church? And that's definitely something we can discuss in the next episode. So stay tuned for the next episode. Again, I appreciate you all for tuning in, for listening. Please, please, please comment below. Don't text me your answers. I will send you right to the comment. I'm going to send you the link. I'm going to text you the link. Be like, put that on here. Comment right below. And we can have that conversation in the next episode. I love y'all. I thank y'all for allowing me this opportunity. And I love talking to y'all. I don't care if it's 20 of y'all that watch. That's cool. That's dope. It is what it is. But let's talk. Let's have these conversations. Let's have these necessary conversations. We're not going to make it about nobody else but ourselves. You feel me? So again, God bless y'all. I love y'all. God loves you too. Until next time. Peace out.
It's your girl, Lady J.